The moon was just rising when I finally reached my family's hunting cabin, tired from a long day and an even longer drive. The woods around me were dark and eerily quiet as I settled into the old floral armchair. That's when I realized I'd forgotten my rifle in the truck. Cursing under my breath, I forced myself up and headed for the door. Outside, the cold air hit me, and I stretched, nearly losing my balance. The silence was unsettling, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I quickened my pace toward the truck, my eyes darting to the shadows at the edge of the woods. When I reached the truck, I paused, listening. Nothing. I opened the passenger door, climbed onto the sidebar, and reached for my gun case. That's when I felt it, a piercing gaze on my back. I turned around slowly and saw it, a head peeking from the corner of the cabin, eyes glowing a sinister red. It looked like a dog, but its size was monstrous. The creature stepped into the moonlight, revealing a body shrouded in darkness, an aura of blackness that moved like flames. My breath caught in my throat. It was sizing me up. My hand instinctively reached for my hip, where my sidearm usually sat. I cursed under my breath, realizing it was back in the cabin, along with the rifle ammunition. The creature's eyes flicked to the tree line, then it let out a low, unearthly howl. I knew what was coming next. The beast charged. I threw myself into the truck and slammed the door just as it crashed into it. The force left a massive dent and loosened the inside panel. It jumped up, paws on the window, trying to pull the door handle with its teeth. My hand darted to the locking pin, slamming it down just in time. It cocked its head as if confused, then circled to the driver's side. I locked that door too. It barked in frustration, then leapt into the truck bed, bracing itself against the tailgate. It lunged at the back window, and the glass spider-webbed but held. I braced it with my feet, the pain shooting up my legs. The beast backed up, ready for another hit. It struck again, this time to the right of my legs, and the glass shattered. I fought hard, grabbing onto the steering wheel, the back of the seat, anything, but it was too strong. It pulled me out of the truck, dragging me toward the cabin. Then it stopped. Its head snapped toward the tree line, and it growled before dashing off into the woods. I scrambled to my feet, grabbed my rifle, and limped toward the cabin. Halfway there, I heard rustling and turned to see it re-emerge, eyes locked on me. I made a mad dash for the cabin, the rifle case in hand. I slammed the door shut behind me, locking it. I expected it to crash into the door, but it didn't. Peering out the window, I watched as it paced in front of the porch, eyes flicking between me and the woods. It wasn't attacking anymore. It was just watching. I loaded my rifle and kept my sidearm on my hip, ready for the next move. The dog circled the cabin, and I followed its movements through the windows. Then, I heard a knock at the door. A knock. Not a scratch or bark, a knock. I hesitated. "Hello? Who's there?" I called out. "Help me," came a faint voice. "I'm lost, tired, hungry. Please let me in. There's an animal out here." I unlocked the door, cracking it open just a bit, and something slammed against it. I stumbled backward, then heard growling and a terrible screech. The dog had gotten to them first. I opened the door again to see it alone, barking into the woods. No sign of the person. Confused and scared, I locked the door again. The dog continued to pace, then lay down on the porch, growling low. This wasn't the same aggression from before. I watched it closely, unsure of what it wanted. Hours passed, and it eventually moved back into the woods. For a while, I thought it was over, until a set of red eyes reappeared, watching me from the tree line. I'd had enough. I grabbed my rifle, threw open the door, and yelled, "I've had enough!" I aimed toward the eyes, and suddenly, a screech erupted from the darkness. My blood turned to ice. A creature stepped forward, walking on two legs, with a gaunt, skeletal form. Its skin was pale and torn, like it had barely healed from deep wounds. It screeched again, revealing long, sharp fangs. I knew then I was the prey. It lunged at me, and I fired my rifle repeatedly, but the bullets did nothing. I stumbled back, emptying the magazine, and drew my magnum. I kept firing until I tripped, falling hard. The creature closed in, and I was sure it was over, until the shadow dog came barreling out of the woods. It hit the creature with full force, knocking it aside. The creature screeched but didn't fight back. It tried to come for me instead. The dog slammed into it again, this time holding it down. As the sun began to rise, the creature's skin started to sizzle. It shrieked in agony, and soon, its flesh burned away, leaving only ash. The dog howled as the shadows surrounding it dissipated, revealing its true form. My old dog, the one I'd lost years ago. I couldn't believe it. "Is that you, boy?" I whispered, tears streaming down my face. He wagged his tail and licked my face before darting off around the cabin. I followed, but he was gone. I found myself at his grave, tears falling freely. "You saved me again, boy," I murmured. "You really are the best." I later learned the creature was likely some kind of vampire, one that needed an invitation to enter. My dog had been protecting me, forcing me inside to keep me safe. How he came back, I'll never know, but I'm forever grateful. He saved me, once in life, and again in death. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more.